So before I started on this self-improvement journey, way back when, I used to have this friend, let's just call him Tom for the sake of privacy. Now, whenever I would hang out with Tom in a group setting or a one-on-one, he would always be bigging up the things that he was going to be doing in the future. You know, in 3 months' time, he was going to be rich because he'd had this genius idea.
Did I mention rich?
Or in 6 months' time, he was going to be full of muscle and have a jacked, ripped physique. And this was all because he was thinking about joining a gym. He hadn't even joined the fucking gym yet.
You know I will do it!
In a year's time, he was going to have the hottest girlfriend on the block in the city because he was going to be rich and jacked, even though he hadn't done anything to start on any of these goals. I slowly started to realize with him that he would talk about his goals but never actually get started on them. So after a few weeks go by and I call him out and say, hey man, how's it going with the gym, or how's it going building that business? He would never really have an answer, and he would just come up with these bullshit excuses.
Oh man, you know, the supplier said it's going to be like 14 days for delivery, bro. I can't make it work, it's too long.
And as for the gym, he would say like,
that gym's too expensive for me, I can't afford it right now. Or, that gym's too far away, I can't get there, so it's going to take me a long time to get to the gym.
and look bro, while all these things may be real possibilities and life throws these hurdles at us, they're not that big of a problem. And I started to slowly see with Tom that he wasn't serious about his goals, and he just felt good from the responses that people give him when he talked about his goals with them.
An insatiable thirst for validation.
In this modern world, bro, what you have to realize is that a lot of people don't actually want to go out and accomplish anything. They don't want to put the hard work in. They just want to get the validation that they feel from when they talk to you about their goals and get your reaction from them as a positive thing. It makes them feel good about themselves and that they're actually doing something in life, when the reality is they're just sitting around talking about doing stuff without taking action.
Then maybe your lazy ass should have gotten up and actually done something around here.
These kinds of people will talk about their goals to make themselves feel better and be internally validated, when it's really just a cover-up for being lazy and not doing anything with your life. A word of caution, bro, you do not want to be friends with guys like this. They will try to pull you off your path. Whatever path you're trying to go down, whatever goals you are trying to achieve, they will pull you off that path and pull you down to their level just so they can feel better about themselves. Because if you're not doing nothing with your life, then they're going to feel better about not doing anything with their life too, right? When they see you going after your dreams and your goals, they're going to feel like shit. So it's only natural that they would want to bring you back down to their level so that they feel comfortable. And that's why mistake number one is seeking validation. This is a weak behavior, especially more so as a man. If you're not feeling good about yourself right now, and you don't feel like you are the man, you don't feel like you are the shit, then you need to go and internally validate yourself. Go do some amazing hobbies. Go to the gym and build a good body. Go and do a mountain hike or a masculine activity with a group of guys and actually go and accomplish something. So you have that mental note that you have achieved something. 99% of people can see right through this behavior. And I'm so glad that I learned to do it, because I'd have been stuck with some pretty low life people back then. Mistake number two, bro, is being the mentor without request. So a couple of weeks ago, I was driving along in my car, as you do, and the person in the passenger seat next to me, who can't drive, by the way, they don't have a license, they started to ask me things about the car. You know, what does this button do?
Ooh, what does this button do?
How do you change the gears? You know, they even described it as like a spaceship with all these different buttons. And the point is, they were trying to learn, and they came to me because I know how to drive. And like a good, regular human being, I started to explain what all the different buttons do, how to put the wind wipers on, how to indicate, how to change the gears. Now, I just want you to take a minute to stop and think of how strange that would have been if a total random stranger would have come up to that person and started just explaining these things straight away without them asking for it. a few days before that, I was taking a morning walk around the neighborhood and I see this guy cutting his hedges with a chainsaw. So, you know, I say good morning to him and go over for a friendly chat. So anyway, we're chatting for like a minute or two, and then this older guy walks past with he's got his dog on a lead, and he stops in and joins the conversation. And straight out of nowhere, he was giving this guy advice on how to cut his hedges. He's like, you shouldn't be cutting it like that way. It's like you should cut it at like a 45-degree angle, and then you'll waste less of the bush and the shadows won't fall as much on the ground. It'll just be a lot neater if you cut it this way, or you hold the chainsaw this way. And I'm looking at this situation like, did this guy really just come up to him and start giving him unsolicited advice on how to cut the hedges in his own front yard? This guy really just come over here and start giving unsolicited advice because he feels unvalidated and he wants to feel like the big shot. You know, had something happen to him that morning? Is this what he's like in his regular everyday life? And I started thinking about scenarios like, well, where does this guy work? Does he always come up to people and explain things to them without them asking? It's just not a good look, bro, and it makes you look really insecure. Unless somebody asks you for advice or wants you to explain something to them, then don't go pushing it around on people, bro. It's weird. What he should have done in that situation was approach the guy cutting the hedges, ask if it was okay for him to give him some advice, and provide a reason why his advice should be taken, such as like from a position of authority. So for example, he could have walked over and said, hey man, I see you cutting your hedges here. You know, you're doing a great job, but I actually used to be a landscape gardener myself, and I feel like I could give you a few tips to make your hedges look even more perfect than they already are. By saying he's doing a good job already, it's a positive comment, and then leveraging the fact that you used to be a landscape gardener shows that you have some authority and some skill in that field, and the person is much more likely to accept your help, and then you guys will become friends. Saying it this way is more of an offer of wanting to genuinely help the person, and people can tell the difference between you feeling insecure and wanting to be this big man and puffing your chest out, and wanting to genuinely help the other person because you know what you're doing in that skill and in that field. Stop being weird, bro. If there's any other social mistakes that you know of that I've missed out in this video, drop them in the comment box down below. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, bro. See you in the next one.